Wholesalers, I'm sure you are all too familiar with this topic, investors cutting into your profits. Sometimes deals, they just fall apart simply because there's not enough of an ROI there, right? Without that return on investment, sometimes you just can't get the deal done. But what if you had multiple revenue streams? You had cash coming from other places to balance the equation, right? Wouldn't that change the game? What if they did squeeze your ROI a little bit, that investor, because they wanted to make a little bit more cash? Well, that's okay. If you have money coming from other places, there's a little bit more wiggle room. It's a little bit easier to do business with you. You can successfully convert the contract. Anyway, all this and more, stay tuned. Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say bottlenecking at buyers and properties, right? Wholesalers, that's the problem. You're focused in on your deal. You're focused in on your winning bidder. The deal is the vehicle. The winning bidder is where the gold comes from. At the end of the day, right, the person with the gold holds the keys to success, the buyer, right? In that deal, there's the vehicle. And who falls to the wayside? The losing bidders. Now, what happens if that vehicle, that deal, doesn't have enough of an ROI to be able to feed you and feed the investor? Well, let's be honest. Sometimes that deal, it just falls apart, right? But there's a commonality for you and for the investor. And that is, again, whoever has the gold makes the rules. It's a common saying, and it speaks volumes. It's because it's the buyer who calls the shots. It's the buyer who squeezes the ROI because they want to make more money, right? And ultimately that means you make less money. That's what you're up against. Really, investors, wholesalers, whether you're independent, whether you do both, you know what I'm talking about here, right? At the end of the day, it's a sold transaction. The key to success is held by the buyer, right? But it's a bottleneck. What if you could monetize your entire network, your entire sphere of influence? What if you had money coming at you from multiple directions surrounding your deal? What if those losing bidders that otherwise would fall to the wayside, suddenly you're doing money with these people, you're doing business with these people, and you're making additional streams of income through those relationships, right? What about the other needs of the buyer himself or herself, right? They're not just doing one property with you, wholesalers, they're likely investing in other properties as well. Investors, maybe you're wholesaling off inventory you don't want to invest in yourself. Those investors aren't just going to be, that you're wholesaling a deal off to, aren't just going to be purchasing your property. What about the other properties? What about their funding needs across the table, right? Think about all these deals. What about your funding needs, investors, wholesalers, transactional fundings there? What about your funding needs? What if every single time every one of these people, including yourselves, got funded, you could make money, and a substantial amount of money? Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that create multiple streams of revenue for you? Wouldn't that change the game from being frustrated to suddenly having a lot more flexibility, having more value in the eyes of the buyer, being able to earn money in multiple ways, increasing your liquidity, taking your investment game to the next level? Anyway, if you want to learn more, you're interested in what I'm talking about, I'm a message away, I'm a comment away. Anyway, thanks so much. I'll talk to you in the next video.